The NHL Network released their top 20 wingers in the NHL. I'll tell you where Robo falls on that list. How does the Stars' top 6 match up amongst the rest of the Central? And can Jake Oettinger play his way onto Team USA?
You're Locked On Stars, your daily podcast on the Dallas Stars. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Howdy, Stars fans. I'm Joey Erickson, former producer of 105 Through the Fan. Please be sure to subscribe. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. And as always, thank you so much for making us a part of your day and making us your first listen. Jason Robertson finds himself in the top 10 of the NHL Network's top 20 wingers in the NHL right now. We're going to break down that list, and I'm also going to share with you why Jason Robertson is going to have a huge season. A lot of good things on the horizon for number 21. We'll also rank the top sixes amongst the Central Division. I think Dallas has a pretty good one, along with Jake Oettinger and the possibility of him making Team USA for the Four Nations Faceoff. A jam-packed show for you on a Friday here on Locked On Stars. Please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, never miss an episode, drop a like, and drop a comment below as well. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more as playoffs wind down. The sports stop sporting like we want them to, but this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a booster or bonus daily. That's right, there's something for everyone every day, all summer long. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. So, of course, the NHL Network continues to drop their lists, and everybody loves a list, so we have to break it down. It was the top 20 wingers in the NHL, and I don't have a ton of gripes with this list. I really don't want to get into the nitty-gritty of where one player should be over the other, but I do want to share with you Jason Robertson cracks the list at number 6. Nikita Kucherov is number 1. That's no surprise. Had an incredible season. Matthew Tkachuk at 2, Mikko Rantanen at 3, Pasternak at 4, and then Panarin at number 5. Kaprizov is behind Robertson. Then it's Nylander, Reinhart, and Marner to round out the top 10. And of course, I think you could make the argument one player should be over the other. Hyman's at number 11. I think he should be higher than Mitch Marner, but that's nitpicking a bit. And I think Hyman, after the season he just had, I would take him over Mitch Marner, especially when it comes to the postseason, but that's not where this list is derived from. Either way, I think it's a very, very fair position for Jason Robertson. And many of you commented on Twitter letting me know you thought it was a very fair position at number 6. And it's just nice that Robertson is getting the recognition for the type of player he is, even coming off a year where he didn't have an incredible point total. It was 80 points. He did lead the Dallas Stars, but it wasn't that 114 or 109, explosion that he had the year prior in 22-23. But I took a look at some of the numbers from last season, and they're pretty alarming when it comes to how Robertson fared along with Joe Pavelski, and why I believe he's going to have a huge season. It's going to be a bounce back year in terms of his point production. We all know the player he is. He can score it well. He is so talented. He works on his craft. It's just a matter of time before the puck starts finding the net. And I think there were a multitude of reasons for why that production sort of slowed down last year. And one of those was Joe Pavelski. And I know Joe had a really good regular season. 65 points is nothing to scoff at. But when you factor in how Jason Robertson plays, surrounding him with a player like Pavelski at that age was not the most conducive for him to be successful, because Robo needs playmakers around him. And Robertson can force the issue, but he's not your prototypical F1. He's going to go in and blow through a defender, take the puck away, and create offense from below the dot, so to speak. He needs players like Rope Hintz to do some of that dirty work. And as Pavelski got a bit older and his speed really started to decline, even though Pavelski never was the fastest guy on the sheet, but they weren't able to create enough offense as a trio, and some of those were due to Pavelski's inability to use his feet. And in the defensive zone, he was a liability, which really forced Robertson to play a more 200-foot game, not necessarily saying he's going to completely disregard the defensive zone, but next season, playing with Wyatt Johnston, I think will do wonders for his game. And here are some of the numbers. If you look at the Corsi for percentage with Joe Pavelski, Robertson was 53.34, and these numbers are at 5-on-5, which is still fairly good. 53.34 is nothing to scoff at. That means he's still creating chances, shots, you name it. But you look at the production without Joe Pavelski, 63.27, the highest on the team, the highest amongst all his other teammates. And he played with Joe Pavelski the second most amount of minutes at 5-on-5 than everybody else. Now you scroll down to Wyatt Johnston. He played just over 230 minutes with Johnston, and their Corsi for percentage was 62.08. That's the highest amongst one of his teammates, not named Dodonov and Smith, and he played under 70 minutes with both of them. So, and we all know that's just happenstance of them being on the rink at the same time together. But Wyatt Johnston, I want to make this clear. A big year could be in store with Robertson because it looks like Johnston's going to slide in along with Rope. 62.08, his Corsi for percentage. And you can go across to the expected goals for with Johnston was 10.98. Like really, really strong stuff. So the subtraction of Pavelski is going to free up Robertson to be more productive. And I think he's going to smash 80 points. There's no way he should come out of the season with less than 82. I'll at least set that as a benchmark. And he has declined over the last 3 seasons in some of his numbers. You look at his point total in 22-23, it was 109. He dropped down to 80. But the previous year in 21-22, he had 79 points, which is a really, really solid year. Some of the numbers where you can maybe show some concern at and some decline would be his shooting percentage. So in 21-22, when he popped off for 41 goals, his shooting percentage was 18.6%. That was top 20 in the NHL at that time. In 22-23, it was at 14.7%. But he shot the puck a lot more. 220 shots the year prior. He had 313 the season. He had a 14.7% percentage. It really dropped down this past season because he didn't shoot that much and he didn't cash in as much either. He didn't crack 30 goals. 12.6% was a shooting percentage on 231 shots. Hopefully that number really, really ticks up. A player like Seguin, right? Tyler Seguin used to always be in the top 5 amongst shot volume in the NHL. And for Robertson to really thrive, I think he needs to be in that upper echelon of guys that just fire the puck at will. Only 231 shots this past season. And as I mentioned, that's only going to increase with Wyatt Johnston joining him on that right wing. That line is going to be absolutely deadly. They're going to create so much offense, and Robertson is going to be in a position where he can really, really thrive. Johnston and Rope can create the offense, create turnovers, do the hard lifting on the forecheck. Not that Robertson can't do that. He really showed even this last year in the postseason. He can play physical. He can bang bodies. He's not afraid to muck it up a bit. But it certainly helps when you have 2 other forwards that can do that consistently and be in the right position. And that will help Robo get to his spots, and Robo can really, really thrive. If you look at his 5-on-5 point totals, he didn't crack 50 points. He had 43 this past season. In the 2 previous years, he had 56 points at 5-on-5 and 52. He should crack 50 points with ease at 5-on-5 with Rope and Johnston. I think that line in particular is just going to thrive without Joe Pavelski. And I don't want this to be a Joe Pavelski bashing. That's not what I'm here to do, but it's going to be really, really, really good that Johnston joins Robo and Rope. And I want to reiterate it one more time. You look at Robertson's Corsi percentage with Pavelski, 53.34 last year. Without him, it was 63.27. And then you drop down to Wyatt Johnston, 62.08. Like really, really strong stuff. And I know they just played over 230 minutes together, but that was significant time. And we saw the firepower and the danger those three have with each other. So good for Robertson cracking the top 20 wings right now. Kucherov, Tkachuk, Rantanen, Pasternak, Panarin, Robertson, Kaprizov, Nylander, Reinhart, and Marner are your top 10. Just to give you 10 through 11 or 11 through 20 as well. Zach Hyman, Brady Tkachuk, Stamkos, and Forsberg, the new teammates at 13 and 14. You have Kyle Connor, Gensel, Keller, Marchand, Ovechkin, and Konecny round out your top 20. And Robertson, I think, is going to continue to become a more complete player. And I think that's the evolution of his game moving forward in his career. We know he can score. He can rack up the point totals. Can he turn into a more complete player in all three zones and facets of the game? And we saw some hints of that last season. I think you're going to see a more aggressive and direct Jason Robertson this upcoming season. I think it is all accumulating into a very, very big year. If he has 120 points, I would not be shocked. Him and Johnston may light the league on fire. It's going to be really, really fun. And I like having this sort of optimism about the Stars, because after this offseason and free agency, I feel like it was so negative. It's nice to start to flip the script a little bit. We're so close, about a month away from the game starting to crack away. We got training camp, and then boom, Stars going to be right in the thick of things. Robertson, number 6 on the top 20 wings in the NHL right now from the list from NHL Network. And boy, just telling you now, a big year in store for Robo, which will be a ton of fun. Alrighty, let's go ahead and rank the top 6s amongst the Central Division. I think the Stars should be number 1. You tell me if I'm wrong. We'll discuss that next in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by FanDuel. I love sports. I love them so much. I never want them to stop. But as the playoffs wind down, we get fewer games, and the sports aren't sporting like we want them to. But FanDuel lets me keep the sports going whenever I want. All I have to do is open the app. It's free and available, and you can dream up bets anytime you're in the mood. And this summer, FanDuel's hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone every day, all summer long. It's been a fantastic summer of sports. We had the Euros, we had Copa America, we had Olympics. Major League Baseball is still in full swing, and the Premier League just started back up. So get over to FanDuel and start making some money this summer before the fall really starts to kick in, and you got to save some of it. Make some money with FanDuel. Head over to them, FanDuel.com. Start making the most out of your summer. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. Thank you so much for making Locked On Stars your first listen of the day. For your second listen, head over to Locked On NHL Podcast, a national perspective on all things NHL each and every day. It's available on YouTube, wherever you get your podcast. Stars fans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. It's been an absolute blast hanging with y'all every single day this offseason. I know we've dropped down to 3 days a week here in the month of August, but before you know it, we'll be back to every single day, training camp, the questions, you name it, we'll have it. But the NHL also put out the Central Division's top 6, and I thought it'd be fun to rank them because I think Dallas should be number 1, and obviously I'm biased, but I need y'all to let me know if I'm completely crazy. And I think you could make the case that Dallas has an interchangeable top six. They put Rope, Robertson, and Johnston together. That is par for the course. And then they have the Duchesne line along with Sagan and Marchment. Frankly, I think you can make the case. And Maverick Bourque is a question mark, although I think he's going to be just fine. But he could be playing with Jamie Benn, and you could throw Stankoven into the mix as well. Sorry, I forgot about him. But I think you could interchange those and they would still be really, really strong. So I would take Dallas at number one if you rank the Central Division's best projected top six. I would take the Avs next. They have McKinnon, Lehkonen, Drouin, Middlestad, Kelly, and Rantanen. If Nichushkin is in that top six, I think you have to take Colorado over Dallas, even though recency bias and confirmation bias, the Stars beat Colorado this past postseason. You don't want a trophy for that, but they did beat them straight up. But I think if Nichushkin is in that top six, I'm probably taking Colorado. But this is my rankings. I would take Stars. I would take Avs. I really like Nashville. I'm throwing them at the number 3 spot. O'Reilly, Nyquist, Forsberg. You had the 2 new guys, Marchessault and Stamkos, and then Tommy Novak, who I think is a really, really talented young player. I throw Winnipeg in there at number 4. Scheifele, Kyle Connor, I think is a fantastic player. And Viardi, you have Perfetti, who somehow seems to just destroy the Stars every time they play him. Ehlers, really, really underrated, and Nemestikov. So I put Winnipeg at number 4. I have the Wild at 5 with Kaprizov, Rossi, and Zuccarello. That line has been really good. Joel Eriksson, he's another underrated center iceman, along with Johansson and Boldy at number 5. And then I'm going Utah, and then, I'm going to go St. Louis. St. Louis at 6. Thomas, Kyrou Buchnevich, Neighbors, Shin, and Bolduc. And then I'm going Utah with Keller and Logan Cooley. And then I have Chicago at number 8 with Connor Bedard, Dickinson, and Taylor Hall's going to be in there. Teravainen, that's actually a pretty underrated top 6 for Chicago. I will give them that. But that's kind of my rankings. That's how I feel. I got Stars, Avs, Preds, Winnipeg, Blues, Utah, Blackhawks. I don't think it's a question either. I think the Stars have the best top 6 amongst the Central. Am I crazy, Stars fans? Let me know in the comment section below. Go ahead and rank them as well. But I think you could definitely make the argument. I don't think there really even is an argument. The Stars have the best interchangeable top 6 because Bourque, Stankoven, and Jamie Benn could easily be thrown in there and be one of your better lines for the Stars next season. So Dallas is certainly sporting a lot of depth, which will certainly help them next season like it did in 23-24. I can't wait to find out how it all plays out. I know I came out a few weeks ago and I had Johnston on that second line. I thought Stankoven could get a shot with Rope in Robo. Keep Johnston with Ben. I think they're so good together. I'm not necessarily married to that, but I really like the way Jamie Benn plays with Wyatt Johnston, and maybe it'll be the same chemistry along with Maverick Bourque, because Bourque not a very similar type of player, but same stature. He's young, and Jamie has shown the ability to play with young guys with ease. So maybe I shouldn't be too concerned about Johnston moving on, because frankly, Johnston with Robo and Rope, I know we're talking about this ad nauseum, could be an absolute dominant force in the NHL next season. I cannot wait to watch this 4 group next season. I can't wait. I have questions on the back end with Lyubushkin and Dumba on how that's all going to sort itself out. But my, oh my, the Stars could just outscore everybody. and they did. They did to some degree last season at points. So in my lifetime, this is just the best forward group I think the Stars have ever had, hands down. And it's going to be an absolute thrill to watch this top six go to work. So once again, I got Stars, Avs, Preds, Winnipeg Wild, Blues, Utah, and I threw the Blackhawks in at number 8. I think Utah could be up there too. I could switch Winnipeg and Minnesota as well. But thought that would be something fun to do as well. Rank the top sixes, best projected top sixes amongst the Central Division. Man, these Central matchups are going to be great, and it gets started right away. This Stars Preds game is going to be blockbuster, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a blockbuster event. What a fantastic opening night matchup. NHL knows what they're doing. I would love for the Preds and Stars to get back to what we saw leading up to the Winter Classic. They had that postseason meeting, and there's just some animosity there. We'd love for that to start to spur up again, and maybe that'll help with the Stamkos and Marchessault coming over from really two teams that have history with Dallas and the Lightning, along with Vegas, of course. Like, those two players have been strong figures in some of the failures, unfortunately, of the Dallas Stars over the last 5 to 6 years. So that factors in. You got Wedgwood over in Nashville as well. Should be some good stuff. Some fireworks on opening night, which is, I guess, less than 2 months away now. Can you believe it? Less than 2 months away. Alrighty. I wanted to get into this because the Four Nations Faceoff is this season. Cannot wait for that as well. There's a lot of things I can't wait for, if you can't tell. Can Jake Oettinger play his way onto Team USA? Because right now, he's not on the roster, if you ask me. I'll tell you more in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience, Stars fans. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof rack, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. They have it at eBay Motors. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Exclusions apply. Of course, eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit, only available to U.S. customers. So the NHL social media team is just throwing out all kinds of goodness here and giving me some topics to discuss here on Locked On Stars, which I appreciate it because it is pretty dry this time of year. The last 2 weeks has been pretty quiet in terms of news throughout the NHL and the Dallas Stars in general. But they threw out this tweet. Who should be the starting goaltender in February for Team USA? Helleybuck, Swaymen, Demko, and Jake Oettinger. Those are your 4 netminders. And my initial reaction is Jake Oettinger doesn't make this team. Right now, if we're talking right now, I don't think he makes this team. Swayman has been one of the best netminders, probably is the best over the last 3 seasons. Helleybuck has been a stud, and Demko has really came on of late. And you look at last season in particular, Helleybuck had the highest goal saves above expected in the NHL, 33.1. Demko was right behind him at 22, and then Swayman at 18.4. All 3 were in the top 5 in the NHL in goals saved above expected. Jake Oettinger's all the way down there at 38 at 1.9. And you can't really base Oettinger off this past season a ton. I think you need to take a bit larger of a sample size for sure. But when you're talking about a Four Nations Faceoff, you want the best right now. So my theory is Jake Oettinger's going to have to play his way onto Team USA. The first 3 months of the season will determine if he cracks the lineup. He's going to have to be lights out in order to find his way on Team USA because they have a lot of strength at the net minding position. But if you do go and take a look at 2020 to present day. Let's take a large sample size over the last 3 seasons when Oettinger came into the league. Oettinger holds his own in a lot of categories. At save percentage, Jake Oettinger's 11th at .913. And this is for goaltenders that have played at least 100 games over the last 3 seasons. Oettinger's played 193. He had a .913 save percentage, which ranks 11th. You have, of course, Helleybuck up there at .917. Demko's right there at .913. You go to the goals against average, and Oettinger is actually in the top 5 at 2.51. Swaymen at 2.34. He's second. And you have Helleybuck over there at 2.62. So Oettinger's stats over the last 3 seasons certainly hold up to a better degree when you look at a larger sample size. But when you factor in last season and who's going to be playing the best heading into February, Jake Oettinger will have to play his way on Team USA. You can make the argument you take him over Demko. I can see that, but I don't think you can make any sort of logical argument against Swaymen and Helleybuck. Numbers, just eyes, the eye test. Look, Swaymen and Helleybuck, 2 of the best in the business recently. Would love for Jake Oettinger to, of course, represent Team USA. I think he wants to as well. He has stated that. He's made that very apparent. He wants to be one of the best goaltenders in the world. He wants to be the number one. So can you crack Team USA? Can you be that number one netminder? We will see. But I think he's going to have to play his way onto it. So the first 3 months of the season are going to be huge. And he can change a lot of opinions. He can change a lot of eyeballs if he is lights out in the first 3 months. And let's face it, recency bias will matter. So I think it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out in the next 3 months or so. But did want to share that as well, because I'm thrilled for Four Nations, and I can't wait to watch Stars players represent their countries respectively. And it'll be an absolute blast in February, and good on the NHL for making this happen. We don't get an all-star game, which kind of sucks, but kind of doesn't with what we've seen from the NHL. Let's be frank, over the last few years with the NHL All-Star Game. So good news all around. Alrighty, that wraps up today's show of Locked On Stars. Thank you for all the love and support over the last month or so. It has been fantastic. Please hit the subscribe button. We're over 3,200 subscribers. We're continuing to blow up, which is awesome. It is so awesome. This community has been great. Leave a comment below, drop a like. I really, really appreciate it. Have a great weekend. I have some news coming probably next week or so as well. And it'll be a ton of fun, of course. And we'll be rocking and rolling. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you on Monday. So long, Stars fans.